Test, 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 1, 2. All right, excellent. So thank you very much, guys, for coming. We've got a great group of guys, and he is correct. I am coming live and direct from India right now. I do things a little differently, so I'll share that with you. Just want to do one more mic check, guys, if it's okay. Is the sound level all good? Just give me a Y if you could in the room. That'd be awesome. Thanks, Leslie, Mike, Susan, Paul, Lee, and second Lee. We got quite a bit of people in the room, so thanks, guys. And just before we get started, I'm really curious to know the balance of traders that we have in the room. Robert, Trish, thanks, guys. If you're a brand new trader, say within 2 months, just a brand new trader, give me a 1 in the room if you could. And if you're an advanced trader, you've been trading for more than 2 months, give me a 2 in the room. All right, awesome. Susan, Mike, Howard, Jason. Okay, so we got a great balance here. Leslie, both Lees, John, David, Greg. All right, awesome, cool. So we got a good balance in here, which is awesome. Leo, 3, you've been around for a while, huh? All right, so my name is Marcello. I don't say my last name too often. I'll give you a formal introduction here in just a second. What I want to talk about today is learning how to trade without indicators. How many people in here use indicators in software? A lot of people, right? So I know that, and I'll just turn my volume down a little bit here. I know that most of us, hear a lot about indicators. So I want to talk a little bit about how to trade basically without indicators, and it's a lot of what we do at the Day Trading Academy. And I'm not going to tell you anything here, guys. What I want to do is give you a little bit of some tangible information. I know all of you guys are here to learn. I really like Morgan. I love the presentations we had today. And I know that you guys are here to try to learn something. So I want to give you something tangible, right? Something that you can use to either improve your trading or learn how to day trade. So the first thing I want to talk about is how to emulate the habits of most successful traders. The next thing is increasing your success rate by not focusing on indicators or software. And I want to, the best way that I can explain this is how I started training people and relate that to what we do in the training program, simply because I think you'll get an idea of how to do that in your own trading. And I don't know if you guys knew, but there have been university studies that have proved that only 1 out of 10 people learn how to day trade. That only 1 out of 10 people are successful, and we've been able to bring that down to about 1 out of 3. And I know it's Saturday. Normally we like to do, all of our training and talk about the market in a live setting. So I'll do my best to talk about the market. But if you guys, I'll go ahead and share with you how you guys can join us in a live trading class here in a moment. So I'll show you some case studies, charts. I know it's after the fact. We can say a lot after the fact, but I'll do my best. And then what we're doing, which is very different, is we're offering someone a 1-year free training program and an all-expense-paid trip to Jordan. I travel quite a bit. Jordan has been high on my list. So we're working with NinjaTrader, one of the best trading platforms out there, and we're working with the Tourism Board of Jordan to give you an all-expense-paid free trip to Jordan, and we're going to do a one-on-one trading in Jordan. So I'll show you how you can sign up for that at the end of the presentation, how to join us in a live trading class as well. And I'm also going to share with you one secret that the industry doesn't want you to know about in terms of training. So the CFTC warning, I don't have to go into too much depth, as Morgan mentioned this before, but if you guys have any questions about that, definitely let me know. Just basics is just don't trade your mortgage money, right? So I'm the founder and CEO of the Day Trading Academy. I've been trading for about 10 years now. I've been helping and coaching others for about 8 years, and what I do now is I travel around the world day trading. I've been to about 60 countries now, I've day traded from South Sudan. You guys know South Sudan, newest country in the world? I got arrested and detained there, but that's a story for another day. I've been to Somalia. I just came from living in Brazil. I'll kind of just show you a little bit of my life. And then now I'm living in India. I'll be here for about 2 or 3 months. And one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about day trading is I had a very hard time learning how to day trade. I started when I was right out of high school, and I took out $25,000 in student loans to learn how to day trade. I was working for $8 an hour. You know, this is back when credit was easy to get, and I lost that in a month. So I'm really passionate about it, and I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I did, because obviously it worked out for me, but I don't want you to have to, you know, take out that kind of money in order to day trade. Jason, where in India? I'm currently in Mumbai. I don't know if you heard the Taj Palace here in Mumbai, right in front of the gateway of India. So just a little bit of history about me and why I started teaching. I know I get this question a lot about, well, if you're day trading and you're making money on your own, why are you teaching, right? And I was living in Ethiopia at the time, and I left the previous company that I was with due to a change in focus. And the idea is that the way that the company was headed was that, you know, we started adding the fancy colored indicators and the signals for trades and things like that. And I didn't feel comfortable, you know, basically just making it a sales operation and not really teaching people what they needed to know about day trading. So I left the company for that reason. And I just started traveling around the world. I lived in South America for a while, Brazil, Chile, Colombia. And what ended up happening was a novice, I was replaced by a novice trader that only had 1 or 2 months of training, a friend of my partner. And obviously, as it turns out, you know, when you're learning how to day trade, you need to learn from somebody who knows what they're doing, essentially, right? So they all found me through my travel website. I have a travel website where I talk about day trading and traveling. It's called wanderingtrader.com. I'll type that in there if you guys just want to take a peek later on. But they wanted me to go ahead and train them how to day trade, and I was very hesitant because obviously for me, it's not about making money. For me, it's about the lifestyle, right? I don't want to sit behind a desk for 5 hours a day trying to day trade, right? I want to trade for an hour or two, and then I want to enjoy myself, right? Especially here in India when I start trading at 9 or 10 at night. So, you know, for me, it's not about making $1 million. It's about having my freedom and having the lifestyle. So I was very hesitant to start, you know, teaching others. And eventually what ended up happening was they asked me for help. I felt responsible because I was part of that previous company. And I decided to go ahead and start the website. I put up my own trades, and they basically started asking me for monthly coaching. And so what I decided to do was I said, okay, well, if you're seriously going to do this, I'm obviously going to be trading less. I'm going to be traveling a little bit less. So I let them all decide how much they wanted to pay for the training. I know that's a little bit unorthodox in this industry, but I felt that would be fair based on how they were treated after I left. And then I started teaching guys. And so the challenge was, this was basically my challenge when I started teaching these traders was, why do only 1 out of 10 people learn how to day trade and become successful, right? And how do we shortcut that learning curve, right? And just for selfish reasons as well, it obviously makes me a better trader. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit here about, you know, what we've been able to do at the Day Trading Academy. So this is my office in Brazil. I lived in Brazil for about 6 months. This is about probably 3 or 4 months ago. Beautiful, beautiful kind of penthouse view there. You can see the water there in the background. Really, really miss that place. This is me on Easter Island. I was able to day trade from Easter Island. It wasn't fun, though, because the internet is not the best. So I had to day trade from an internet cafe. And luckily, they just let me, you know, I had a wired connection to my laptop. This is Machu Picchu. not the best internet there either. Andrew, the statues at the statues at Easter Island are quite tall. They're literally probably 10 times my size. Jeffrey, what's my ethnicity? Oh, that's a hard question to answer. I'm half Italian, half Spanish. I was born in Venezuela, and I grew up in Italy, America, and Venezuela. So I always tell people that I'm from Earth because I've been around quite a bit. And then this is London. I was in London recently for 2 months. I went to the London Expo. These are the lion head statues of the Assyrian Empire. They used to go in front of the, the important sites for them. And for those of you that don't know where Assyria is, that's northern Iraq. Russ, did I climb Huayna Picchu? I did. Amazing, amazing view. And this is my view, guys, from the room that I'm in right now. This is what I see every morning. This is sunrise. So beautiful, beautiful place here. That's the Gateway of India, built by the British. Yeah, very, very cool, Russ. I went to see some elephant caves yesterday, which was awesome. So, all right. So I want to get into the nitty-gritty here. I want to talk a little bit about why some traders are successful. And in the end, guys, and I want you guys to tell me what you guys think, because I think it's important to talk about this. There are millions of different traders that trade a million different ways that combine a million different indicators. So what's the bottom line? What do you think, guys, is the bottom line? You guys think it's risk versus reward? Do you guys think it's indicators in software? What do you guys think? Is it rules for trades? Natural ability? Is it what people are eating? Right? I mean, can I come out with a day trading food company and start selling day trading food? Will, you say all the above. Okay, some of you say risk versus reward. Gary, emotions. Lee, discipline. Don, psychology. Jason, practice. Okay, understanding the market. Gary, you're right on track, my man. So, in the end, guys, in the end, if there are so many different people, right, that are being successful so many different ways, the bottom line is not indicators in software. The bottom line is being able to understand the market and being able to adapt to it, right? Errol, yeah, you agree with me. Zaba, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. You agree with me as well. So the concept that I want to talk about is simply that indicators and software are not important. For those of you that don't know, indicators are lagging. Does everybody know what that means? Lagging? Essentially what that means is all of the indicators that we use are behind, right? They calculate what you see, the lines and the fancy colors and stuff, behind what is actually happening. So in order to make money in the market, we can't wait for a signal. We can't wait for confirmation. We have to be able to anticipate what the market is going to do. Does everybody agree with me? When we lose money, I don't know if you guys know this, but when we lose money, we're giving it to somebody else, right? This isn't the money just doesn't disappear. It's a zero-sum game. When we lose money, somebody else is making that money. So in order to make money in the markets, we have to be able to anticipate what the market is going to do and then adapt to it, right? And that's why, and for those that say, many people have talked about how the E-mini S&P 500 has not been moving well lately. Have you guys heard that? You guys agree with me on that or no? I've heard a lot of guys this year say, the E-mini S&P 500, just the volatility is gone and it's not moving well anymore. And I'm here to tell you that the reason why people are saying that is because they don't understand how the market works, right? And when we don't understand how the market works, we're not able to adapt to it. So whether we have a sideways market, whether we have a low volume market, we should still be able to make money. And that's what I'm going to show you guys here in a second. And one thing I want you to think about, guys, is indicators in software can always be taken away from you, but no one can ever take away your ability to read the market and understand how it works. I think that's something that's real important that needs to be said. So I think this looks familiar. right? Learning how to day trade is already hard enough. So having, all these indicators and softwares and things that, that are supposed to tell us what the market is doing. Yeah, Alex, laugh out loud, right? I mean, this is typical, right? I mean, this is just a distraction. I prefer much cleaner charts. This is just a random day trading chart that I found. I typed in day trading software and I just pulled the most colorful one that I saw. So the idea that I want you to think about is stopping those distractions. Okay, when you are able to remove all the indicators, get rid of all of the software, all the software that's going to tell you when to get in, all of the software that's going to tell you what market environment it is, all that stuff is going to keep you distant from the market, right? In order to day trade, and I've learned this in the 10 years that I've been trading, you have to be able to be in tune with the market that you're trading, right? You have to be connected to it. And switching markets and trading with software and indicators, you can never get in tune with the market. So remove the software, remove the fancy colors, the bells and whistles, and then you're going to pay attention to what counts, which is the live market, because that's the only thing, right? That's the only thing that we can count on, because that's the only thing that's live. So increasing our success rate. Okay, so when these traders convinced me to start teaching again, I felt the responsibility to make sure that they were going to be successful. And what I wanted to do is do exactly that, where you get rid of the mess, and try to explain things in a way that it's not about rules for trades. It's not about a checklist that you look for trades. It's about really being able to understand expected outcome and understand the direction that the market is going to, both immediate and overall. And what I was able to do with what I did was I selected 6 guys. I call it the LTD project, right? The Learning How to Day Trade project. And I said, okay, let me find 6 guys. Let me train them, right? Let me get the bat, get the rulers, smack them over the head when they're not serious, and really teach them how to day trade. And I want to see if it actually is true. I want to see what it takes, because everybody would always ask me, well, what does it take to be successful day trading? How long does it take? How much money should I make? All that stuff. And when you stop focusing on quote unquote the rules, right? Everybody talks about risk versus reward, right? That's real big in this industry. Everybody talks about, well, percent of return. Well, how much money can I make every day? What I'm saying is, let's throw all that out of the window and just worry about one thing. Let's just worry about making the right decision. Because there is only one right decision, right? So let's just worry about that. Let's focus on understanding the market, and let's just worry about making the right decision. Because if we make the right decision consistently, we're going to make money every day. And then if we can make money every day, then we just add on the number of options, the contracts, the shares, whatever you want to call it, and we can make a living doing this. Yeah, Greg, my own turtle project. And in addition to that, obviously I needed some traders to trade my own money, because now I just can't trade it anymore, but and make a good return. So what ended up happening was, I was able to achieve a 1 out of 3 success rate. Obviously, I only trained 6 guys, but I think it speaks volumes that those 1 out of 3 people were able to do it. The ones that didn't succeed essentially just basically quit, and that's something that most people need to understand when it comes to learning how to day trade. You can't quit before you learn, right? This is going to take work. There is no magic pill that you're going to take. That's why. That's why I'm here talking to you about these things, because I think it's important to talk about them. So now, yeah, Susan, no shortcuts, absolutely. So the second thing about increasing the success rate, one of the promises that I made to all of these guys that were coming to me for training and convinced me to teach them, for monthly coaching, I made them a promise that I wasn't going to allow anyone to teach that wasn't really trading live. Because that, I think, is another big problem. Because if you don't have somebody who was actually doing this, right? When I first started day trading, the same thing happened to me. There was a guy who came in the room just out of nowhere. You know, obviously in a business, you fire people, you hire people. Same thing happened to me. It happened to them. You know, I saw kind of the pattern there. So I wasn't going to do that to them again, right? Especially when I let them decide how much they wanted to pay for the training. I wasn't going to do that again. And what ended up happening was I have a very big problem now because I have so many students that are making money that they're actually teaching classes for me. Live classes, you know, the live classes that we have. So that actually improves, in essence, the way that we learn, because if you don't actually learn how to do something or you're not actually doing something, we can't really teach how to do it, right? Donald Trump, for example, knows how to build, you know, 80-story buildings. I could probably figure out how to do it, but if I had to do it, I couldn't explain somebody detailed how to do that, right? Because I've never done it before. So I'm not going to get a friend and hire them and, you know, just put them in a room, because, you know, day trading is something that we have to learn and we have to be doing to teach it. And then once we get to the point where, you know, we're making money and we're consistent, then we're no longer looking for rules, right? I know everybody in this industry wants rules-based trading, but I think that rules-based trading is nonsense, because when you follow rules, you can't adapt to the market, right? That's why I prefer a structure, because when you are able to look for a structure, right, you're able to look for just high probability movement, not just quote-unquote rules for trades. At age 62, do I have enough time to really make a living at this, Mike? I think that is an excellent question. I learned when I was, you know, right out of high school. One of the best traders that I have taught how to day trade is 65 years old, Mike. So I have, with this LTD project and traveling around the world and teaching people, it has made me realize that it doesn't matter where you are from. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, purple, Asian, brown. It doesn't matter. As long as you have the focus, the discipline to do this, and you're paying attention to the right things, for example, like the market and understanding how it works, not looking at indicators and rules and things like that that are going to distract you from what's important. That's when you're able to find that high success rate. Does that make sense, Mike? Paul doesn't feel bad. Donald doesn't really know how to do it either. Yeah, he doesn't know how to do it anymore, probably. But yeah, Mike, you know, it's one of the best traders, I kid you not, that I have ever trained started at 65 years old and went live in a few months too. But that's, you know, that's beside the point. So the idea is to remove all the noise, remove all of the indicators, and then after that, we create a fixed structure with no subjectivity, right? And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, for those of you that, you know, put 2 in the room earlier, the experienced traders that we have in the room, after you learn how to day trade, would you not agree that the next biggest challenge is to know when to get out of a trade and when to get in a trade? You guys all agree with me? When do we go long? When do we go short? Right? I mean, when do we not go long? When do we not get in a trade? Right? There should be a predefined, no guessing approach to trading, where this is when you get in a trade and this is when you don't get in a trade, and that's it. So what I wanted to do with this training program is say, okay, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you in a box, and you're not going to be able to get out of that box, right? And what I want you to do is, I don't want you to worry about making money. I don't want you to worry about losing money. The only thing that I want you to worry about is when to get in the trade and when not to get in a trade, okay? And the idea behind this fixed structure is putting you in a box so you stop worrying about everything and you just worry about learning how to read the market. I know it sounds really simple, but when you get behind has everybody seen an airline cockpit? all those gauges and lines and everything. I mean, you can't learn how to fly a plane in a day, right? But if you get rid of all the gauges, if you get rid of everything and only learn how to steer, then you're going to be on the right track. And that's the idea behind this, right? So, and I'll kind of show you what I did here and what you should do as well. You should create a fixed system for yourself in order to get rid of your fear of losing money, right? What this is going to do, if you set it up properly, it's going to allow you to stop worrying about losing money, right? Because let me ask you guys, if you had a system or a strategy, whatever you want to call it, that you knew worked, right? I'm going to show you the results here in a second. And you only had to worry about knowing when to get in and when not to get in. Wouldn't you leave your stop and just trust that it was going to work over time if the results were there? Would you guys trust that? Would you be at least willing to give it a try, right? And this is the funny thing that happened, because it's great for new traders, obviously, right? Because it controls your emotions. But what I didn't expect was it also helped experienced traders, because it gave them the consistency that they needed as well. I mean, it's really weird how this all planned out. And then once, obviously, you get that advanced understanding of the market, you stop looking for quote-unquote rules for trades, right? And instead of looking for rules for trades, you learn how to take trades based on high probability movement, right? And this is what I was talking about earlier, about anticipating where the market is going to go. It doesn't really matter where or when you take a trade, as long as you have the momentum on your side, right? So what I call that beginning system, that fixed box that everybody comes in, is the beginner results. And these are the beginner results. Who here doesn't know points in futures? Anybody here doesn't know that? We got quite a bit of people in here. I know there's quite a few beginners as well. Susan, okay. Lee, Leslie, you don't either. Mike, okay. So the stock market moves in dollars and points, right? Everybody agree? So when a share of stock goes up a cent, we make a cent in profit. Does that make sense, guys? Alan, Joe, Howard, does that make sense? When in the futures market, it's much higher leverage. So for every dollar that I risk, let's put it that way, for every dollar that I risk, I make 50 bucks instead of a cent in the stock market, right? So every dollar that goes up is 50 bucks. So we call dollars points, right? And we call cents ticks. So there's ticks and points, cents and dollars. And the E-mini S&P 500 is 4 quarters in a dollar, essentially, right? So it's 25 cents each way. And because we're higher leveraged, there is $50 in a point and $12.50 in each tick. Does that make sense, everybody? And I'll write this in the room to make sure that some of you're more visual guys can see that. So 4 ticks in a point, right? 1 point is $50. So each tick is $12.50. It's that simple. So the numbers that you see above, those of you that have heard this stuff about the E-mini S&P 500 is dead, okay? I just showed you that with a beginner results system, you're able to make 2 points a day. Now, what is 2 points a day? 2 points a day, remember, each point is 50 bucks. So that's $100 per day per contract. We assume 200 trading days. There are actually 245 trading days a year. I try to be real conservative with these numbers. And assuming 10 contracts, you can make $200,000 a year. This is beginner results, right? Not too bad. And this is only worrying about taking valid trades, right? This is no risk management, right? This is not moving our targets to make more money. This is not moving our stops to make less money. Candy, no, that's not $20,000. If you think of it this way, 2 points is $100. Okay, $100 times 10 is 1,000. 1,000 times 200 times 10 contracts would be 200,000 a year, Candy. So you're only figuring one contract, Candy. I'm talking about 10 contracts. That's what we always assume. Ed, does that make sense as well? Mike, how much of an account do you need to start making that kind of money? Well, that's a hard question to answer. Okay, that's a hard question to answer because it really depends on your personal margin. What I always recommend is that you use a personal margin of $2,500 per contract. What brokers require, the absolute minimum that brokers require, $500 per contract. So the idea is to start with one contract, you build your discipline, right? You learn how to use the system, and then you start adding the contract, and you can start making money while you're still learning how to day trade. I mean, you know, we have to understand as day traders that we're not going to be right all the time, right? And to assume that we're going to be perfect, is you know, that's very foolish of us, right? So someone answered, or someone asked just a question about how to trade choppy markets. I forget who that was, but this is what I wanted to show you. This is a student chart from December 6th. You know, I tried to find the kind of worst day, so to speak, and everybody see for the most part that this market is sideways. Would you guys agree? And this, for the most part, is a choppy market. Would you guys agree? Now, excuse my French, but how the hell are we supposed to make money when the market does this? Right? How are we supposed to do that? It's not possible, right? Well, the idea is if you can understand momentum, right? If you can understand momentum, you can understand how to make money in these markets, right? So everybody see the X's on these charts? Everybody see those X's? I know I should have, you know, told Mike, this is Mike's chart. I should have told Mike to put black X's on there, black text. But you know, they're if you want to zoom out, Linda, I don't think you can see him, but if you want to zoom out, there's a button on the top where you can do full screen. If you want to toggle the full screen. But the X's are the charts are essentially trades, valid trades that we wouldn't take, because they fit that idea that those trades are not compelling, right? So I just wanted to show you guys that to give you an idea of how that works. So once we learn how to do that, right, we start with that system, we put ourselves in a box, then what we do is we develop our own style. Then what we do is we say, okay, then we start, you know, it's like a cardboard box. That's the way that I try to describe it. You start to develop your own style, because it would be very foolish for us and me to tell you that you need to trade like me, right? That's a very big problem where we have this society, this culture where we gravitate towards success. And it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing at the same time, because if you try to copy someone by not understanding the market, then you're not going to make money because you're trying to trade like somebody else. And you're not going to do what you feel comfortable with. So the idea is to develop your own style within the strategy or you know, whatever system that you're using. Because if you're able to trade the way that you feel comfortable, you're going to be able to make money. You're not, you know, your money's on the line. We're already going to feel a bit uncomfortable, right? And then obviously I'll show you here what I mean by taking trades in an aggressive environment. This is an example of a pro trade, okay? I'm having a real big problem right now where I have so many students that are making money that I'm having to develop an entirely new advanced and pro curriculum to make them even better. So what's the expectation that we have here, guys? Obviously, this is an uptrend. I mean, what direction is the market going in here, guys? What do you guys think? Up or down, you know, strong up? What do you guys think? Definitely up, right? Gary, Paul, you say up. Linda, that's a variation of a moving average. It's not actually a moving average. Right? I would say that the market overall is moving up. So to take a short here, to take a short here would be very, very aggressive. Very, very aggressive. And this thing may go for a straight line, right? A straight line for 20 points, right? So the idea here is by understanding the market structure, understanding exhaustion patterns, understanding that the market is really just people like you and me buying and selling, we're going to be able to understand when to be able to get in and get out. Mark, outside the outer band sell, it's not that easy, to be honest with you. There are about 5 or 6 rules that go into this actual trade setup. But I just wanted to show this example because this would be very, very aggressive for most people, right? We don't usually counter trend trade. We only trade with the trend. And I just wanted to give you this idea. Obviously, this is the trade that worked out. This is from December 11th, if I'm not mistaken. December 11th, if I'm not mistaken. So the idea is, with those strict rules, is to learn how to go long and learn when to go short. Have very strict set of rules that allow you to decide when to go long and when to go short, right? And then from there, then you understand momentum. Then you understand when not to take a trade, right? Because in day trading, it's just as important not to lose money as it is to make money, right? It's a lot easier to lose money in day trading than it is to make money. So we have to understand when not to take trades, right? There's going to be situations that we don't take trades. And you can see the X's on this chart as well. I believe this is a chart from November. I wanted to show the same chart for the momentum standpoint. So the idea behind those trade setups and the way that we look at trades is we're not going to wait for confirmation, right? We're not going to use indicators or software to give us an indicator to get in and tell us that the trade is okay. We're not, this is a theme, the recurrent theme that I hear recently also in the industry is everybody here, the idea of following the institutions, following those big boys to know when they're buying and selling, right? The idea that you're going to try, it's like trying to invest like Warren Buffett. I mean, you're not going to be able to trade like Warren Buffett. He's getting in days before you're going to know when he got in, right? So the idea is to get into the market before the pivot even occurs, because this is going to be better for our risk management. If we are able to gauge with a high degree of accuracy where the market is going to pivot, we're going to be already in the market by the time that it does pivot, right? And this is what it looks like. Everybody see this chart on the right here? Everybody see that yellow line with the arrows? So we already have our order waiting at that area, right, based on you know, a rule set for trades to be able to get in that trade before anything happens, whether this thing pivots, whether this thing flies to the upside or flies back down. We're going to be in this trade because it fits the rules. The red arrows here on the right, Lee. Right? Linda, how do we do that? You have to understand market expectation and be able to anticipate what the market is going to do, right? So if I show you the next chart here, notice how the market pulled back. So that's where we would get filled, and whether this wins or loses, you can see that this is, you know, this is the trade that worked out and went to the downside, right? So one last thing, you know, the secret becoming successful, guys, make sure that you understand the market structure, right? I'm not here to sell you anything, guys, right? I'm not trying to sell you a package of indicators or software or tell you that there's some magic trick to learn how to day trade, because in reality, there is no magic trick. Jeffrey, how much is it to join the academy? Honestly, Jeffrey, it really depends on availability. We have a limited number of seats, so I mean, it really depends. And then obviously everybody, for you guys, what I'm going to do is, for those of you that want to sign up for the free contest, free 1-year training program, there's the link where you can do so. I'm going to invite you guys The free live trading class there, that obviously is the wrong date. We're going to have the free live trading class in January after the volume picks back up. And we're going to give you a free 1-year NinjaTrader license because obviously they're running the contest with us. And then we're going to pick one of you guys to come to Jordan, all expenses paid, and we'll trade. We'll trade from anywhere, and that's really what I do. So, so again, the trading class won't be in November; it'll be in January. And I'll answer some questions here, guys. Michael, when you post the beginner results, are these based on trading with real money or paper money? It's all based on real results, Michael. A lot of the beginners that start the program use the beginner results as a basis. Some do as well. Some do, a little bit better. But the idea is once you start incorporating risk management on the E-mini S&P 500, once you learn this strategy, we only risk 3 to 4 ticks. That's it. That's our average loss. So our risk versus reward is about 2 to 1. Dennis, by structure, do you mean higher highs and lower lows, or do you mean Keltner? By structure, I mean understanding the expected outcome of the market, Dennis, right? So even though the market is going up, you have to understand what the market is going to do, right? Just because it's going up doesn't mean that it's going to go up the entire day, right? Will, do you trade currency? Yeah, I exclusively trade the E-mini S&P 500, and I dabble in crude a little bit. But you can apply this. I have a lot of guys who trade Forex. I have guys who trade commodities, currencies. I have one guy who trades the Australian bund, of all things. The European markets, the idea is that it doesn't matter what market you trade. Once you learn how to understand the market, you can apply it to anything. Mark, what are your trading times? If you're referring to live trading classes, I consider the morning to be about 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. But most of our traders that are making money only trade for about an hour or two a day. We're usually done by about 11 o'clock Eastern. Ed, do you sell any information on your way of trading? If you want, Ed, just sign up at this link here at the top. And, we'll invite you to that class, and we'll teach you a little bit about what we do. Jagdish, do you trade Indian markets? I am in India to see the possibility of applying that to the Indian markets. I believe the Nifty is the one I'm looking at. Lee, is your training online or in person? We do everything online, Lee, in a live environment, very small classes. But we keep the classes very small in order to make sure that we have a personalized approach to trading. Freddie, sign-up cost. It really depends, Freddie, on the availability. If you want to sign up here, just shoot us an email from there, and we'll be able to get back to you. And I'll answer a few more questions here, guys, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Michael, what's your biggest obstacle in trading, and how do you overcome it? Fear of losing, Michael. Fear of losing. And by having a system that already works so you don't have to worry about losing money, that's a step in the right direction. Then if you go to this URL up here, thedaytradingacademy.com/tradingpub, you'll automatically be enrolled in the free contest to win the 1-year training program. And in addition to that, we'll invite you to the live trading class as well. Do you hedge at all, Marcello? I trade crude on a longer term basis. But when I day trade, I typically only swing trade. Or excuse me, not swing trade, day trade, intraday day trading. Average trading size, I trade between 50 to about 100 lots on average, Candy. The lowest I go is about 10 on the E-mini S&P 500. All right, guys, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you very, very much for joining me. Average win, well, Candy, it's really hard to answer because for beginners, I try to give you a conservative estimate of what is possible, Candy. So as a beginner learning, you should be able to make an average of about 2 points on every trade. Per day, you should be able to make an average of 2 points per day as well. The more advanced or intermediate traders, obviously their trades could be a lot bigger than that. Thank you, Jeffrey. Appreciate it. No. We don't scout. We don't scout for tips, Candy. We only lose about 3 to 4 ticks per trade on average, and our average winner is about 2 points. All right, so thanks, guys. We'll go ahead and call it a day here. Thank you again for joining.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Marcello. Again, it seems like everybody loved the presentation, and I'm so impressed with you guys here in the room that, you know, we started, like I said, we started with 300 people, and we've got 280 here a couple hours into this. So again, excellent job. And you know, kind of the cool thing when I started talking to Marcello, and he told me about this contest for Jordan, I said, that's definitely something I've never seen before. So, and I've seen a lot of different offers and contests and things like that. So you guys can register for that. You go to that link that I just posted. It's the daytradingacademy.com/tradingpub. And also, I think that'll get you access to some of the live trading classes that Marcello does as well. So, Artur, you will, I believe, Marcello will start emailing you some information about it as well. So just be sure to sign up for that link. If you enjoyed this presentation, if it's something that you would like to learn more about or see him do one of the live classes, then definitely check out that link. All right. All right, sounds good. Well, we've got one more speaker today, last but certainly not least, Jack Crooks of Black